This week, I'm joined by Scott Tarbox of Shingle Rescue. Scott's company focuses on roof cleaning, shingle reconditioning, shingle repair. In my line of business, I encounter a lot of roofs that are in awful shape. So I wanted to do what I could to spread the word on Scott's company. If you have black marks on your roof, if it's dirty, talk to Scott. He can take good care of you. I think you will enjoy the podcast this week. We have a great conversation. You may learn something. This is the Randy Forcier podcast. If you could do me a huge favor, follow the Randy Forcier page on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and then I'm mixing it up this week on how I do things. I'm going to release the podcast on Spotify and Apple on Mondays as I'm trying to focus people there. YouTube will be on Tuesdays, and I'll no longer be putting the full podcast on Facebook anymore. So if you can do me a favor and subscribe to one of those feeds, I would really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Scott, thanks for joining me.
Good morning, Randy.
Glad we made it happen, man. I've been wanting to have you on.
Yeah, it's great. I appreciate you asking me to come on.
Definitely. We're in B&I together, do some networking, trying to help each other grow our businesses. Wanted to have you on because I think you do such a great job with what you do. Why don't you tell everyone what your business is?
So I own a business called Shingle Rescue, and where we recondition asphalt shingles, clean asphalt shingles, and do repairs on asphalt shingles. So that's kind of the gist of what we do. We do not replace shingles at this time. We might do that down the road, but I got a couple other contractors that will do that for me if I need that happening. So that's pretty much what we do.
How long have you had the business for?
I started the business in 2019, the end of 2019, which obviously brought us right into COVID.
Yeah, it really did. Because you're not doing roofs at that time, right? And in 2019, you're really just planning for 2020 at that point, I assume?
Exactly. Yeah, we're basically just planning everything out, getting all my training done that I needed to get through RoofMax. So there's quite a process through that for learning how to do inspections and seeing what qualifies and what doesn't qualify for RoofMax treatment. And we can get into that a little bit more, what that is. But yeah, so I went through all of that and was really planning on hitting the ground running in 2020, and then COVID slapped us right in the face, and I had people that didn't even want me on their property. And I get it, because when it first started, like, nobody knew what it was and how bad it was. I tried to really respect people's opinions on that and what they wanted. But so it was tough, because obviously it's a new business. RoofMax has been around for about 7 years, and so it's definitely new to the area. I'm the only dealer in southern Maine. There is one way up north Maine as well, so I'm the only one around here.
So RoofMax is the product, and Shingle Rescue is the company, and you apply that product as one of your treatments for roofs.
Correct. Yeah. So RoofMax is a soy-based product that gets sprayed on asphalt shingles. It soaks into the tar layer. So basically you have 3 different layers of your shingles, and you have a granular layer on top, then your tile layer, and then a fiberglass layer underneath that. And so how shingles fail is they just dry out over time. And then you start losing granulars, and they start curling, they start cracking. And typically when it gets to that point, they're too far gone, they can't be fixed. But if we can get them before that, what RoofMax does is it soaks into that tar layer and basically makes it flexible again. So it allows those shingles to expand and contract. Kind of a misconception about shingles is that they're waterproof, and they're actually not designed to waterproof your roof. They're designed to shed water off your roof.
Yeah.
So once you have heat, thermal expansion, we get those times when the sun gets very hot and the roof gets very hot, and your roof can be 140 degrees, 150 degrees in the middle of the summer. We get a storm that comes through, cools that off to 50, 60 degrees. That's quite a shock to your roof. So those
that temperature change is a big issue.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's that quick change that hurts most stuff. But shingles are made similar to like roads too. When your roads start cracking, your driveway starts cracking, it's because the oils have dried out. So that's what RoofMax does, is replenish those oils in that shingle.
So I think of cleaning my roof to get rid of stuff that is on there and improve the way that it looks visually. But do people do it just as a way to maintain their roof, just because you should do it on a periodic basis, or is it mostly a visual thing that you're trying to fix when you do it?
Well, most people call me for a visual thing, but it is a good thing to keep your roof clean. So the RoofMax is the reconditioning part of my business, and then the cleaning part is roof shampoo. Now, roof shampoo, both these products, 100% eco-friendly. It's not going to hurt the environment whatsoever. It won't hurt your plants. So they're both great products. Roof shampoo is a way that we can actually clean your roof in a safe, effective way while we're there, 100% clean when we're gone. So it's not a spray-on application. There's other companies out there that have these spray-on applications that it will take 6 months to a year for your roof to be clean. Some people are okay with that, but most people are like, no, I don't like the way it looks. I want it clean now. So we can offer that with our system that we do.
So is the conditioning always done? Do you sometimes just do the cleanings, or is there always going to be some level of the reconditioning with the Roof Max and not just the roof shampoo?
Yeah, I do both, and sometimes just do one, sometimes just do the other, because there are some roofs out there that don't need to be cleaned. There are some roofs that don't necessarily need the Roof Max treatment if it's a fairly new roof and you got a ton of tree cover. And so we can certainly go in and clean that. Most of your dirt that comes from your roof is from trees. So you got the moss, the lichen, the algae, all that stuff, the black streaks that people see on their roofs. That's an algae that's formed on their roofs. A lot of that stuff does start forming after your roof starts to dry out a little bit. So it is good to do them both at the same time, but I don't necessarily do them both at the same time. Obviously, I'll give the customer that option, but most of the time I recommend doing both of them.
Now, the idea that this is a soy-based product, is that unique in the industry? Or is that standard at this point?
No, it's pretty unique as far as there's only a few companies out there that are doing it. Roof Max is really the first company to really kind of perfect it, I would say. That's my opinion. It started out in Ohio, and it was two brothers, and they've been in the roofing business forever, and they were tired of people calling them and saying that, you guys replaced our roof 15 years ago, and it was supposed to last 30 years, and it's falling apart, and what can we do? And the problem with asphalt shingles is they don't last as long as the manufacturer tells you they're going to. And part of that is maintenance, too. A lot of people don't do anything to them. And it's like buying a car and never changing the oil and expecting it to last 10 years. It's not going to work. It's not going to happen. So they came up with this. They did a ton of research. It was developed from Battelle Laboratories, which is one of the leading laboratories for soy-based products in the world. And they were out in Ohio. And then Ohio State University did all the testing on it and came up with all the parameters that needed to be met. And it works. It comes with a 5-year warranty. You saw a shingle because in our BNI meeting, I brought one in one day, a shingle that I cut in half and treated one half and had one half that wasn't treated. So you can really see the difference. And it's pretty dramatic. And it does come with a 5-year warranty. And the cost is dramatically less than replacing your roof. We're 80 to 90% less expensive than replacing a roof. So it's well worth it.
I actually want to get back to that thought, but I had another thought on the soy stuff, because I did have my roof cleaned when I first bought my house. And you've seen my house since then, but when I first got my house, there was the black streaks on the roof. Hated looking at it before I even bought it, and it was like the first thing I wanted to get done when we closed. So we had someone come and treat it, but I feel like it wasn't a soy-based product because a lot of the plants that were on the perimeter, they all turned brown, within a couple days after the treatment, because whatever was falling off that roof was hitting them and killing them. And people are still using that sort of stuff in the industry, or?
Yeah, absolutely. What you're talking about is a cleaning product. So there's several different ways you can clean your roof.
Yeah.
But if I had to guess with just my experience, what someone used on your roof was a bleach type product.
Yeah.
And the problem with bleach is bleach dries everything out. So you make your roof look clean, but you're also hurting your roof at the same time. Does that make sense?
It makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
And obviously that wasn't positioned to me at the time. I was happy with the clean roof, but what you're doing is different. The product that you're using is much different. There's a lot more benefits to the reconditioning and the shampoo than just getting rid of the black stuff and doing damage to my roof at the same time.
Right. Yeah. So the roof shampoo has no bleach, no phosphates, nothing bad that other people will use in their products, because a lot of people use what's called a soft wash system, which is kind of a generic term. But most of those guys are using some kind of bleach product. I actually had a lady last year that told me she had her roof cleaned, and I'm like, did they use bleach on your roof? She goes, no, they use pool shock. And I'm like, so they'll come up with different names to call it and try to tell people it's going to work. But you're right. That's the problem with bleach is is now if they do it right, they can preserve everything around your house by keeping it wet and keeping it watered down the whole time. But it's definitely not safe, and it's not good for your roof. And that's kind of what my thing is I want to do stuff that's good for your roof and not bad for your roof.
So that's probably just a misconception in your business then, right? Like that's something that a conversation that you have to talk through, because I imagine that doing this soft cleaning with bleach is cheaper than using Roof Max or the roof shampoo. So someone like myself say, oh yeah, someone came over and did it for a few $100, not realizing that it was basically bleach. You have to kind of talk your way around that and the benefits of using your product. And that part's probably a little bit frustrating.
It can be, but I think when people realize it, it's a big difference. The other thing is if you look at some of these companies that do use a bleach type product, so typically what they do is they spray it on, they let it sit, they let it kind of kill everything, and then they spray it off. And they try to collect the waste that comes off the roof. But the roof isn't clean. If you get up there and actually look at it, there's still a lot of dirt still on the roof. When I get off the roof, it's completely clean. So we use a pressure washer, but it's a very low pressure. It's about 800 PSI, and we go up with a 20-inch disc. So we do spray the roof with a cleaner, and then we rinse the roof off with this 20-inch disc, and it literally takes everything off the roof. So when I get off the roof, your roof looks like it was just put on. It's as good as it can with the conditions of your shingles.
And like you said, it is the fraction of the cost of replacing your roof. So what's the expectation after having a Roof Max treatment or a roof shampoo treatment? Are we talking about extending life of the roof in a certain amount of time, or is that even something that you guys try to promote?
Yeah, absolutely. So with the Roof Max part of it, that comes with a 5-year warranty. So basically,
so 5 years is the thing.
Is the thing, right? And so after like 4.5 years, I'll call you up and we'll have a conversation about how your roof's doing. I'll come out and do another inspection. We always do inspections for free, and we look at the roof, see what's going on, see if it needs to be retreated or not. As far as the cleaning aspect, so they're two completely different things. And there's actually no real warranty with the cleaning. The warranty I have or guarantee I have is that the roof will be clean when we leave. And the reason I can't guarantee that it's going to stay clean for a year or 5 years or 10 years is it all depends on your environment. You know, if you live in an area, like a lot of camps are just covered with tree cover, and they just have moss and they have all kinds of crap on their roof all the time. So some of those roofs just have to be cleaned almost yearly. Where, like your roof, you have some trees around your house, but you don't have a lot. So if we came up and cleaned your roof, I'm sure it would stay clean for probably 5 years or so, and then probably have to relook at it.
Yeah. Talk about the inspection. I was pretty impressed. You did an inspection on our house. The report that you gave was very in-depth. You get your drone out there, bring your dog. You know, it's a whole thing, right?
So, yeah, Gemma, I have 5 dogs. Gemma's my baby. She comes with me a lot. Your girls love Gemma.
They absolutely did, yeah.
So I always say I come out and I do all the work, and Gemma seals the deal for me.
That's awesome.
But yeah, we come out. Typically I will use a drone unless I see something major on the roof, and then I'll get up there and actually lay eyes on it. But the drone that I use has a zoom camera on it, so I can get really close and get really good, see what's going on. And if it's questionable whether it needs to be replaced or not, or if it's too far gone for me to treat it, then I will actually get up there and physically touch the shingles to see how much flexibility is left in those shingles, to see if they're a candidate for Roof Max or not. There are a ton of criteria that you need to meet, which I won't necessarily get into those, but a lot of different things that I look for when I do that report. But yeah, the report that I sent you, obviously, a ton of different pictures, looking at your roof, different angles. So basically you can see everything and see everything that I'm seeing. So a lot of problems that people have with their roofs that they don't even realize is plumbing boots will typically start rotting and cracking because they're just rubber. So just being out in the sun.
I've had to have one replaced. So frustrating.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it was a thing until it happened. So yeah, it's not fun.
And the problem with that too is that your insurance company won't cover damage from something like that because it's a maintenance issue.
Yeah, it's a wear and tear thing.
If you're not maintaining your house properly, right, then your insurance company is not going to cover stuff like that. So another thing that people don't see a lot is your ridge caps. So your ridge cap shingles typically are your first shingles to start to fail. One, because they're made a little bit different than your regular shingles. and they typically don't carry as much warranty as your regular shingles do. So they tend to wear out first. Plus, you're bending them over the peak of your roof, and they get sun all day long, 24/7. Well, not 24/7, but as long as the sun's out, they're
24/7 sunlight.
Yeah. So if you go, way up north, that happens sometimes. Sorry, but yeah, they get beat up pretty bad. So it's good to be able to get a top view of what those look like and see what's going on. So that's kind of like the repair stuff that we do. We also look at chimneys and flashing and make sure that that's all nice and tight and buttoned up. So we try to make sure your roof is as watertight as it possibly can be when we leave. That's kind of our goal.
I found it eye-opening to see some of the pictures that were included in the report, because I know why I had you come over, and we addressed that. That was obvious just from standing on the ground, but you don't realize all that other stuff that you mentioned from the ground. And, those pictures where it was like, wow, my roof looks way worse than what I thought it was.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people don't necessarily realize that. And that's why the good thing with all the pictures, because I can sit here and tell you that you have, these 5 things wrong with your roof. But the problem with the roofing business is that there's so many shysters out there that just are trying to make money. And so it's kind of a tough, some people just don't do things right. I've gone and looked at roofs that have been installed 5 years ago and they just weren't installed right. And because, their buddy knew a friend that did roofing for 2 years, 20 years ago, one of those deals. And, it can be an issue.
Right now, this time of year, you're obviously not doing any cleanings, any treatments. You basically shut down from beginning of December through beginning of April? Is that the time that you're not doing any kind of...
Yeah, I might start getting up on roofs in March, depending on what the weather looks like. But we do inspections throughout the winter, as long as it's like it is now. There's no snow on your roof, so I can certainly come out, do inspections. This last storm that just blew through, I had a few people call me, to replace some missing shingles. One guy's chimney was leaking, flashing, had some issues, so I went out and fixed all that for him, replaced some ridge vent shingles. So yeah, as long as I can get up on the roof safely with no ice and snow. I can't do any cleanings this time of year because all my stuff is all waterproofed and put away and in heated storage. So I can't yank that stuff out and do that. But
well, it sounds like there's some stuff to keep you busy, and then you can kind of plan for a busy spring, summer, and early fall. So as you look to grow your business, what's an ideal customer for you? Obviously, someone that has black marks on their ceiling. Like how else would you describe a perfect customer for you?
Yeah. Well, if they got black marks on their ceiling, that's a whole nother problem.
Ceiling, roof. This isn't ceiling Max. This is roof Max.
Yeah. So we like to look at roofs at about 15 years old. Asphalt shingles are getting replaced about every 18, 19 years, national average. Maine is a little bit more than that. We're more in the 20-year range. But if I can start looking at people's roofs between that 10 and 15-year range, then we can typically do at least 3 treatments to those roofs. And so we can save them a ton of money and keep those roofs looking good for 15 more years. So get them that 30 years as what their manufacturer says they will last, but they typically will not last that long.
Yeah, if they don't treat it. So that makes sense. So people in that window of time, any other businesses maybe?
We do both residential and commercial. So it's not just residential homes. It's pretty much any building that has asphalt shingles on it. We'll come out, take a peek at it, and do that. So yeah, we can certainly do that. Yeah, I think that's about it. Obviously, anybody that's got a dirty roof, I'd love to have a conversation with them, have them give me a call.
So it's been 3 years now. What has been some of your keys to success in that period of time?
Well, BNI has been a huge help for me this past year. I joined BNI with you, Mike Perez, about 8-9 months ago. And anybody that's thinking about joining a BNI group, just do it, I say, because BNI has been a huge, huge help. But I think probably the keys to any business is, do what you're going to say you're going to do. If I tell you I'm going to be at your house at 9 o'clock, be at your house at 9 o'clock, which actually is kind of funny because I think I showed up at your house an hour late because we got time.
I think I had in my calendar an hour off. There was definitely something going on there. It's most likely on my end, but I think that's so important though. Just timeliness aside, like just delivering on what you tell people. I think is
exactly. And get an estimates on it in a timely manner. People don't want to wait 2 weeks for an estimate. So I try to do estimates within 24 hours and get them back to people. So I think that's key, and that's part of being organized, just having organizational skills and keeping that in line. And, customer service is basically where it's at. You got to be there for the people when they want you there.
Definitely. What's the best way to find you online?
ShingleRescue.com is probably the best way to find me, and it's got more information about everything that we've just talked about on there.
Yeah.
And so, people can my phone number's on there. They can give me a call at any time, and we can chat. I'd love to do inspections for everybody in
Definitely. I want to
Southern.
spread the word. So when I share this, I'd like to get some pictures, some before and after pictures. I think it's eye-opening for people. I assume you have plenty of that sort of stuff to share. I think people really can see what the difference is before and after.
I do have some before and after pictures, and I got a few videos as well of the cleaning process. And so, I can share those. And I believe there's a few of those on my website as well that people can see.
Yeah, I was looking at it. There are some stuff there too. So we'll definitely be sure to do that. Before I let you go, I wanted to talk to you about something that we've spent a decent amount of time talking behind the scenes about, and that's one of your passions, which is baseball and the Sanford Mainers.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, love the Sanford Mainers. For people that don't know, Sanford Mainers is a collegiate baseball league right in Sanford, Maine. And it's a wooden bat league for college kids. So they come from all over the country and stay in Sanford. And I think there's like 18 teams in the league, I think. But so we host a couple kids every year. And they're always looking for host families. So anyone that's interested in possibly doing that, contact them. SanfordMainers.com, I believe, is their website. And man, it's so much fun. We get to meet kids. We had one last year from California, and the other one was from New Jersey. Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. So, I've really gotten into college baseball a lot and trying to follow these guys throughout their career. And we've had guys that have been signed. So the two we had last year, one played at Virginia Tech, the other one played for Georgetown. And
so these
the one that played at Virginia Tech. They're all, Class A, Division I colleges, typically. Mm-hmm. We do get some local guys as well, like you Maine guys. We had the best pitcher in the league and the best closer in the league were on our team last year. And they were both from Maine, lived in Maine, and they really helped our team out tremendously. We didn't start off very well last year, but we made it to the playoffs, and it did quite well. So, yeah.
So how long have the Sanford Mainers been around at this point?
Oh, that's a great question. It's been at least
like
10
more
years.
than 10 years?
I think it's been more than 10 years. Yeah, it's a nonprofit organization, so they're always looking for assistance and help. But they play right at Goodall Park here in Sanford, and Goodall Park has tons of history. I don't know if you know, but Babe Ruth actually played there at one point.
I think you told me that before. That's pretty cool. When did he play? It wasn't an exhibition major league thing, or was it?
No, well. So back when he played, baseball wasn't what it is today. So what they would do is they actually had these kind of like sub leagues that these guys would play on and travel. So he came here in the off season and played, and it was actually right between the time he was playing for the Red Sox and then got traded to the Yankees. So
no kidding.
A lot of people say that the curse of the Bambino started in Sanford, Maine.
Yeah.
So,
that is so cool.
But yeah. But it's a ton of fun. It's great baseball. The games are fairly quick. It's not like going to a Red Sox game where it takes 4 hours to go through a game.
Yeah.
It's pretty quick. It's great ball. These guys have tons of passion. They play to win. So we try to make it every single game that they have.
And you're having a huge impact on these kids too, right? This is a memory they'll have in their lives probably for a long time. I don't know if you stay in touch with any of the kids or what, but it seems like a pretty cool experience all around for them, for the family, for the community.
Yeah, some of the kids I've stayed in touch with. We've been doing it for 5 years now. And some of the kids, they want to stay in touch. And if they want to stay in touch, then I'll stay in touch with them. Some just want to move on with their lives, and it's a chapter in their life that is closed and they want to move on. and that's fun. It's a ton of fun just having them staying with us and getting to meet them and their parents and
Yeah.
learn more about their school and where they're from and all that fun stuff.
Any of them make it to the pros?
Yeah, I think in the history of the Sanford Mainers, we've had 6. Don't hold me to that, but I think they've had 6 people signed to the major leagues. And throughout the league, there's been many. A lot of people have heard of the Cape Cod League, which is another summer league for college kids, and so we're kind of like one step down from them. So a lot of our kids are younger, sophomores, and their goal is to play in that league next year, or there's leagues all over the country, honestly, but they, obviously they want to improve, they want to get better and make it to the majors as everybody's playing that plays baseball.
That's the goal. Yeah. Very cool, man. Thanks for sharing that. Be sure to spread the word on the Sanford Mainers. Got to take the kids out there. Kids love, my girls are into softball, but they enjoy watching baseball games too. So I'll have to make a point to meet up with you and go to a game at the very least this summertime.
Yeah. We'll have a good time. They got some good food, good grub. So.
Love it. Awesome, buddy. Well, listen, thank you very much for coming on. Want to spread the word on Shingle Rescue, so we will do that, and then we'll have to do it again sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, Randy. I appreciate it.
All right, bud. Talk to you soon. See you.